Hello, I'm Nathan P. Butler, author of A Saga on Home Video and host of From the Star Wars Home Video Library here on YouTube, and this is Star Wars Home Video Year by Year. This time we take a look at 1992. Now, 1991 was a big year for Star Wars. It was the launch of what's now referred to as the Legends continuity, but from the standpoint of home video, not so much. Really, the only noteworthy thing in terms of what would affect the American market was the fact that we did see that switch from CBS Fox Video to Fox Video. We would see that reflected on releases here in the US starting in 1992. The one other thing that I would consider noteworthy here in 1992 that we need to kind of keep an eye on from a context standpoint beyond home video itself is this was a year that George Lucas' The Creative Impulse was released. This is that original version from the US with the dust jacket on it, which will make a difference in a future episode. They did reissue that with some updates in 1997, as you know, we could see in the future, but I see no point in mentioning that in 97. I can just mention it here because this is the version that'll make a difference for home video. We will see different home video releases actually either including this in whole or in part for a little while as we're looking at these early 90s releases. Now remember that in the US back in 1990, we saw our first VHS boxed set of the original trilogy. Granted, full screen, like basically everything we've seen so far, aside from the Japanese Special Collection and the special widescreen edition LaserDiscs in the US and VHS in the UK in 91. But we did get another box set here in 1992 that was effectively a reissue of that 1990 box set. So it is worth taking note of here first. That is this. This is very easily confused with the one from 1990. However, you'll notice Fox Video. That is your indicator that this is the new version. We will also find that the cassette packaging inside has been somewhat updated, which is actually why I pointed out certain features of it back in 1990. You notice here the tops no longer have the little squares, little red squares with images inside them, nor do the spines. They all now have Fox Video up on the top. The backs are no longer a couple of rectangles. It all kind of blends together on a single background here as well. And then for A New Hope, at least, the logo for Star Wars is now centered rather than off to the left. This and one of the other ones we're going to look at here in a second actually are kind of near and dear to my heart because even though they came out in 92, I picked both of them up in 93, and that was really sort of the beginning of my Star Wars home video collection, even though I didn't get into hardcore collecting, so to speak. Boy, that sounds wrong. Collecting heavily, so to speak, until 2013. Before we move on from that one, though, I would note that you can see similar ones in other regions that are kind of neat. The one out of Australia is a little bit bigger because its cassettes just kind of slide in here from the side as a slipcover, but they're all in clamshell cases, making for a need for a bigger box as compared to the American version. The really big deal, though, this year for the US was this. See the hologram there? Kind of hard to see, but it's basically the cover art for A New Hope there. This is the Special Letterbox Collector's Edition, the SLCE as it is sometimes called, for the original trilogy in the US on VHS. Yes, our first widescreen releases were on LaserDisc, but this is often credited as the first widescreen release simply because this is the one that more people were able to actually watch. It was not the first, but it was one of the first, and the first time on VHS. And a pretty cool package here. You got your hologram there. When you open it up, you have yourself the 4 cassettes inside. Yes, 4, not 3. What is the 4th? We will see in a moment. They're essentially those 1990 copies we just saw, except they are widescreen and have the labeling as such on the top and on the top of the labels here. But that is the case for all 3 of the original trilogy films here. Alongside them, we have this full screen copy from Star Wars Jedi, The Making of a Saga in new packaging, probably the most recognizable packaging for this particular behind-the-scenes special here. Notice this just says Special Collector's Edition, not Special Letterbox Collector's Edition, but it is a special version of it, essentially just branding-wise, tucked away into the packaging here. It also included a little certificate with it. I still have the thing from the back. And, as mentioned a moment ago, this is one of those instances where we see George Lucas' The Creative Impulse included in a home video product. Now, this is an abridged version, the special abridged version, that just focuses on the Star Wars portion of George Lucas' The Creative Impulse, here in paperback. Unlike that full screen one that we just saw, which is actually a replacement for my original one, which is still sitting in my closet that's really beat up, it's having been used a lot, this is actually my original copy of this that I bought back in 1993 to kick off my collecting in part back then before it really got going here. And boy, was I annoying to the Lucasfilm Company store people, because I ordered this, I ordered the other, and I ordered a Rebel Assault for Sega CD, and when that game got delayed, I was calling pretty much every week to ask, where's my game? Where's my game? Is it coming? Where's my game? Ah, the days before you could check status of deliveries on the internet. Also of note this year, alongside that special collector's edition version of The Making of a Saga inside the SLCE, you also had from Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga as an individual release in that updated packaging, just without the bar on top denoting it as part of the box set. And no, none of the stuff from the Special Letterbox Collector's Edition was ever released individually. So if you see someone selling a Special Letterbox Collector's Edition of A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, or a Special Collector's Edition version of Making of a Saga on VHS individually, they're selling you a partial product. And yes, I've seen graders treat these as if they are complete products when grading them, when they're not. It was a box set only for those. You could get the full screen versions individually, but not the widescreen ones at this point. And as I mentioned last time, back in '91, we saw those special widescreen edition releases in the UK of the original trilogy. Here in 1992, they do get their own box set of those as well. Also in 1992, we see a reissue of the special widescreen edition of A New Hope on LaserDisc here. Remember, this is the one that had those issues the last time we saw it. And in this case, it is coming through Fox Video. It is being pressed not by Pioneer, but by Mitsubishi, and it has the same issues. Those will not be fixed until Technodisc picks up production starting the following year. So, yes, you can have a Fox Video version as opposed to CBS Fox Video, and it could possibly still have those issues. It'll depend on which company was actually behind it. Again, for more about those issues and to see an actual demonstration of them, check out my video from the Star Wars Home Video Library, episode number 400. Then finally for the US, this was also the year in which we saw our last time-compressed and full-screen LaserDiscs for the original trilogy. They are noteworthy because of the Fox Video and the black bottoms as opposed to the blue we've seen on pretty much all of the other ones that were full screen. So we have A New Hope here, still time compressed onto a single disc. The Empire Strikes Back, still time compressed onto a single disc. Return of the Jedi, still not time compressed, so still 2 discs in this case. And Return of the Jedi, still not time compressed and still on 2 Wait, what? Yes, 2 different versions of Return of the Jedi to hunt down from 1992 with that black bottom here, one with a silver logo, one with a white logo, but effectively the same otherwise. This would be the last year before a new iteration of the original trilogy would start to hit home video, a thing we would later refer to as the THX Remastered Edition that most people remember as something from 1995. But no. The THX Remastered Edition, and even those bonus discs of the supposed unaltered trilogy released in 2006 and 2008 on DVD, will actually find their roots in a new release known as a Definitive Collection next year. Come back next time as we take a look at those, as we look at 1993.